like I started Trinity because not only did I always enjoy fitness and had always been what at least I would like to think of as pretty spiritual, but I noticed myself constantly being really good in one of the three areas and like horrible in the other two. So I would maybe be at church every Sunday, really building up my spirit, but then physically not training in the gym, and it would lead me into battles that I couldn't win. And then I would be in the gym pounding on weights 3-4 hours a day, 6 days a week, but my spirit was weak and it would get me in trouble. And it wasn't up until recently, fairly recently, that not only did I recently figure out how important the balance is, but also the components that are required with the mind, body, and spirit. It's Trinity. And it's really the people that seem to be successful in the gym or in life or spiritually tend to have all three categories kind of working together. And I noticed that pattern and figured, why not, why is there no one out here helping to cultivate that and train people in that way? If that's the secret to life, why are we all running around, we're all trying to find a gym to belong to worry about our physical self. We're all looking for self-help books on Audible to try to listen to them ourselves. Then we're all going to church by ourselves, or reading the Bible by ourselves, or going, you might have friends that you go to church with to a service, but there's no singular entity holding it all together at the same time. And that's what the goal is with Trinity, is to provide that, so that people can spend time in the gym crushing their body, working, training, but then also have that same core group of people and belief system and friends and allies to be in church with that same week. So we beat up our bodies all week long to take care of the physical piece of the triangle. Then we all head up to church together on a Friday, spend that time together. And the mental side, we're all in relatively different places, but maybe someday we have Simon Sinek coming and giving speeches at our gym. I don't know. But let's worry about the spirit and the physical, which is where I think most people have an imbalance. Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate goal. That's actually a good question. Like Trinity Training is not somewhere that you show up to do bicep curls while I'm preaching at you, or one of the trainers is yelling at you about the commandments. But at the same time, at least in my belief and what I've experienced, when you really look at things in the way that I believe is most accurate, it's impossible to separate the spiritual aspect from anything, because we ourselves are three-part beings. So it'd be like saying, how do you go to the gym and leave your spirit at home? You can't do it. Well, it's the same aspect as when we're training. Well, we're talking about training and working on the body. It's just inherent that we relate it to the spirit world, spiritual battles, or just spirituality in general. But I don't know if I can steal your own words for it, but it's like you said about, you don't just leave halfway through a set. If you're doing a weight that you can do 12 times, you push for 15. It's no different with your spirituality. If you take a week off from church in a month, you're not building, you're not growing. And it's no different than we can talk about lifting weights in a church or in church and relating it to spirituality. The opposite is also true, where we can relate lifting weights to spirituality. And obviously vice versa. So you can be in the gym talking about spirituality just as easy as you can be in the church talking about lifting weights. It makes perfect sense. And I'm not trying to draw any parallels here, but I'll let you in on a big secret. So just like where Jesus himself will meet you where you're at, so does Trinity Training. So I don't care if you've been in a gym for 15 years and you're the big expert at your gym and want to come push through the next plateau. Same thing with spirituality. I don't care if you come to me and have never said a prayer, have never heard a prayer, have never been inside of a church. It doesn't matter. You still fit in with Trinity. And there's not, a mandatory preaching session that you go to. But the idea is that you come to Trinity to grow in it. Just like you go get a trainer to improve your physical self. We're also here to help you improve your spiritual self. If you've never said a prayer before, never been around it, maybe you're even uncomfortable in church, I get it. I'm not going to throw a bunch of scripture at you day one. It's one of the things where we always are feeling out the people, and it's a community. It's not like you're showing up and this is our set parameter that we're going to train from. Someone doesn't come in and say, this is where I'm at with my physical training, and we just pull a training manual off the wall and hand it to them. It's about that interaction. That's why we're successful, and that's why we train like no one else on the planet. And it's the same thing in the spiritual, where it's not like we're going to be spiritual advisors to everyone that comes to us. Again, it's just a place to cultivate and grow the spirituality in the way that you want to. So it's up to the client necessarily to kind of decide what that looks like, how hard it's pushed. Just for an example, we will every week offer to people to be able to come together at one worship service. People aren't required to go. I'll train you just as hard on Monday, whether you're there or not there. But if you want to really build your spirituality, I think that's a huge key to helping people do that. And, that's just one aspect of the things that we do. But that idea of, it's the same thing as people say, well, what program would you have me do? I don't know yet. I have to take you out onto an assessment and see where you're at before I can know where the progress would begin. And it's the same thing with the spirituality, where we just are what we are. We are who we say we are. You know that we're spiritual people, and being around that is going to give you the opportunity to grow, hopefully, but it's up to you. Just like the dumbbells are on the rack, it's up to you whether or not you go pick them up. It's up to us to decide what weight you should start with. It's the same thing with the spirituality. The other side of it is, if you just want physical training, the best physical training on earth, we can do just that too. It's no different than coming to the gym and not using a certain cable machine. Okay, fine, that doesn't work for you, we'll do the rest of it. But I think you're missing a huge part of what you can accomplish if you're going to leave equipment on the table and not say I'm not using it. It's the same thing with the spirituality. If you're going to push to come train with Trinity, why would you leave one of the great 3 components that we're good at on the table? Mm-hmm. Why would you pay for that and not receive it? We don't talk about judgment because I think that you're already past what you need to be focusing on if there's a judgment problem. Judgment comes from a belief system that doesn't work with Trinity Training. It's the belief that somehow someone else is better or worse than someone else, or even further along in progress. If you're coming to Trinity Training because you're already the best, you're not going to get anything out of Trinity Training and you'll quit. And those are the people that tend to have the outward judgment issues, that they already know everything. And we just don't have that culture. We don't allow it because you're gonna quit. It's not that we have an application you have to fill out to come into Trinity. It's just the fact that you're not going to survive. You won't enjoy the environment if you already know everything, because you're constantly getting pushed. And if you're not open to being pushed and changing things, doing it the new best way, then you're not going to continue to show up, and people don't. Again, it goes to, do you really believe what you're preaching? And I think it would be ridiculous for me to say that I believe so much in training, but I know everything already. So I'm constantly looking for other people, and I'm bouncing ideas off of other people. I work and train with other trainers to learn what they're doing with their people that's effective. Because the best, if you go to any gym, you're going to find the people that are getting the most progress, the fastest, and look the best are usually the people that have spent their gym career asking other people how and why they're doing what they're doing. it's just part of it. It's the learning curve. You're shortening the learning curve. There's also the aspect of whether or not people are willing to learn. I might be able to squat with terrible form and get 320 pounds done, but am I willing to change my form to do it correctly at 225 so that I can get to 375? Or is 320 good enough? And the people that stay at 320 and think they're good enough are the judgy people that aren't going to last at Trinity. And the real point is the people that will survive and thrive at Trinity are the people that do want growth, and they want the community of people that are headed to the same place, physically, spiritually, mentally. Those are the reasons. That's the reason why Trinity started. And it's the big W question, why? So why do you go to the gym? What is your goal? What is it that's driving you? Why are you there as much as you're there, doing what you're doing? It's not pleasant lifting more weight than you ever have before, more times than you ever have before for the first time. It's painful on the body, right? So why are you there subjecting yourself to this torture? It's the drive to be better. It's the drive to improve. In the physical realm, it's relatively easy to see because it's physical, right? That's how we see everything, is through our eyes. So if someone's improving their aesthetics, it's black and white. You're either going up or down, you're looking better, you're looking worse. And if you're willing to put in the work physically, you're going to end up looking better. But it's not, you can't just say, I'm going to go move dumbbells and look better. It's not enough. There has to be a why there, or you will stop going, because there's going to be bad workouts. There's going to be mornings when you look fluffy. There's going to be evenings when you look too small, whatever the case may be. If you're just there to move the dumbbells to look a certain way, you won't look that certain way. It's no different than if you start a business or work really hard because all you care about is accumulating money. You will never be rich. It will never happen because the why isn't there. You have to have a bigger why. And back to what you're saying, this is why I love that quote, is because it's the people that have a why other than the end result of some physical trophy or looking a certain way. There has to be another why there. And this is why people come to Trinity, for the why, because we turn it into something more than just coming and moving weights to look a certain way. Boring as that, I wouldn't do that either. But if you get the why in you and you're there to be trained physically, mentally, spiritually for the battles that life throws at you, now you have a why. And that will keep you going. And this is why people don't quit at Trinity. Well, so it's just the extrapolation of Ephesians 6:10. So you put on the whole armor of God. Why? Again, we're back to this why. And it's not easy enough to just say, oh, I'm going outside today, I'm going to go put on my armor, and then go out into life. You have to know there's a battle coming, and you have to prepare that way. That's the why. I'm putting on this armor because there's a battle coming. And when you look at life that way, spiritually, physically, mentally, you're prepared for these battles. And talk to any elite trained soldier, warrior. Every single time you ask them about going to war, about going to battle, they don't talk about how they're afraid and worried about how it's going to play out or if they're prepared. I've trained for this for the last 6 years. I don't care where I go. Just send me somewhere, anywhere, to utilize my training. That's why we train. That's the why. That's the armor. That's Ephesians 6:10. When one person is helped and they're able to take it off on their own and make it theirs, not only is it more long-term in their life, but now they're more empowered and they can go take on bigger and better battles, which is my ultimate why, remember. I want that person helped, not them to keep paying Trinity. But also I've noticed that when they go off into that life with that new strength, that new training, the new knowledge, the new ability to manipulate their own body the way they want to do, their own way to cultivate what they want out of their spiritual life, maybe, yeah, the less they need Trinity. But at the same time, that person now may bring 2 other people that see how their life looks to Trinity. So there's, I guess you could call it a selfish desire in that, in and of itself. But the other side of it is no one ever retires and quits Trinity. It's not like, okay, you're done paying, see you later, here's the door. You're always welcome at the Friday service. You're always welcome to come to the gym and hang out with us and talk with us. You may just not have a trainer over your shoulder, but we're always around. Come ask questions and stay part of the group, stay involved. And I truly, honestly, in the bottom of my heart, believe that it's more than just someone you go, show up, and give money to get progress from. It's a family. Everybody within Trinity is a family. We all have the same purpose, the same goals, the same desires. We'll have different paths to get there, and it may look different when we're on the other side once we've made it through that door. But through the entire process, we all have a deep underlying understanding that we're all together in it. And so, this person might be squatting 100 pounds. This guy might be squatting 315. She's over here has never seen a dumbbell before. This guy hasn't been to church. This guy's baptized people and done weddings. It doesn't matter, because we're all trying to get progress, or else we wouldn't be part of Trinity. And so he can help him, she can help this guy, that guy can talk to her. And the beauty of it is this guy that knows how to squat 315 pounds, that's helping her learn how to squat for the first time, she might be preaching to him about a spiritual battle that he's going through that he didn't have anywhere else to turn to. So it's not like a one-on-one and that's the end of the relationship. I like to look at it like it's a military base for spiritual, physical, mental battles. And you're coming here and you're getting around other warriors that are also being trained and training for a battle. And when you're in that environment, it's hard to leave feeling like you did when you showed up. If you're showing up feeling slightly defeated and you show up and learn how to train for that battle, you're going to leave equipped to fight that battle and create victory for yourself. That's an empowering thing. And to bring it full circle, like I had originally said, if you think other people in your life aren't going to recognize that and ask you what you've been doing, you're crazy. And that's my advertising. So I don't want people to train with me forever. I want them to go out into the real world and show what they can do, because that's how I get new clients. This is just not a one-time thing, but one of my favorites is there was a guy with bad shoulders. How many people played sports in high school and ruined their shoulders and then never got it looked at properly, or just maybe they lifted weights too long, too hard, too heavy, the incorrect form, whatever, and have bad shoulders. But this guy was so bad that he couldn't even get his own hands over his head. His shoulders were that bad, rotator cuff issues, things like that. And just him trusting Trinity Training and following the process and allowing the process to take hold over time. In our last session, he was doing overhead dumbbell press with dumbbells. And it's about the why. If the why was, I want to lift dumbbell, I want to be able to do a shoulder press at 60 pounds, if that's the why, then I wouldn't say that's a huge victory. But to a guy who never believed that he'd ever get his hands over his head again, and now he's doing shoulder press and can take that training beyond where I left him, that's a huge victory. And he doesn't talk about, hey, guess what, now I can move my dumbbells, or I can move dumbbells over my head. That's not his victory. His victory is every single thing that he does in life is better. Every day of his life is better because of what he came to Trinity for and because of what Trinity provided. And that is the victory. Again, it's about this big why, not just the what. The what is just moving dumbbells over your head. Cool. But for someone to say my entire life is better because of what you've done, that's my why. And there's nothing greater on